Executive reporting, executive reporting. I see executive reporting on every single job description or interview that I have with a recruiter. But what does that mean? So they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I created a one pager in PowerPoint and I'm going to share that with you so you can see what I think of when they say executive reporting. Now, keep in mind that this is just for an individual project. If you are managing a program or a collection of projects, you want to have multiple slides with maybe a single summary slide at the top that lists all the projects and their current status. Let me go ahead and share my screen with this one pager that I have created. So here's the one pager I might send in a weekly executive report to any of the stakeholders that I have on my project. At the top, we have the project name. I usually like to put the project number in parentheses so that way finance or whoever is looking at this know exactly what you're talking about. Underneath the project name, we have the project status date. Next, we have the baseline end date. This is what executives care about the most. Are we on track to meet our target date? Want to use green if you're on track. If you're at risk for your baseline end date, you want to put this maybe into orange. If you're past due to your project schedule, you want to make this in red. It's very important to make sure that you have the right coloring there for the baseline end date. In the box next to the project name, we have the PM. This is an important field to put here because you want to get credit for all the hard work that you're doing, so people know who to contact when they see this slide. Then you want to call it the sponsor. The sponsor is the one that helps with the budgeting and getting the requirements from the customer, so forth. So you want to make sure you have the sponsor called out in your one pager. Then we have the budget approved and the budget actual. If your budget is looking good, you want to make sure it's green. If you're over budget, put that in a color of red. You want to be able to give the executives or leadership that are looking at this one pager a quick glance at where are we at in terms of budget for this project. The next section, we're letting people who look at this one pager know what aspect of the life cycle are we currently at? How close are we to being finished? You can see we have 4 different gates for our project. Usually there could be many more, and the wording might be different. In PMBOK, it's initiating, planning, executing, monitoring, closing, all that stuff. But here we have design, development, testing, and deployment. By highlighting the design icon, we're letting anyone know that looks at this one pager that, okay, the start of this project, we're in the first gate or the first phase. And they can see that just at a glance. And then underneath the SDLC, we have the critical path tasks or milestones. As a PM in your own project schedule, you might have 100 tasks and 15 milestones. But when you're doing a one pager, you only want to put the critical ones that are going to affect your end date. These might change on a week-to-week basis as you complete some and bring new ones in. For my critical path tasks, we have here a communication plan, and I put John in parentheses. You want to make sure you have the resource that is working on that task in parentheses. We have the baseline date. When we baselined our project schedule, this was the date that we all agreed to that we would try to get this task completed by. And then we have the actual date. This is the date that the work actually got completed on. You hope it's at or before your baseline date, but in the real world, sometimes that doesn't happen, right? Coding is very important here as well under the red, yellow, green status and the notes. If you're past due, you want to put that in red. You want to put your notes in red so people know that it's past due. Then for tasks that are completed, you want to put a strike through so people know that it's done just visually. Then at risk task, like we want to make sure that's in orange so people know that this is at risk and might not get completed by the baseline date. Underneath the critical path tasks, we have the risks. For example, I put a risk, Jill is leaving the team. So what is the mitigation? How did we resolve this risk? That was done by hiring Megan, and Megan is currently in training. For each risk, I also have a column for the impact. It's great to list the risks out, but that doesn't really give you much information. How does this impact your project? What does it do? Does it affect the scope, the schedule, the budget? And the impact of Jill leaving the team was that this could delay development. You probably want to be even a little more specific than that. Delay by how many days? How long could the schedule potentially slip? There is one more thing I usually like to see in a one pager. It's a summary, one or two sentences on that people can read, just so they don't have to look at every single line. PowerPoint has a notes section usually at the bottom of each slide. If you can't fit your summary on your one pager, which is just like a 1 or 2 sentence summary of all this information, you can put that in the notes section of the slide. So yeah, that was my project one pager. For other project managers or program managers watching this video, I'd love to hear you in the comments. Does your one pager look the same, similar? What am I missing? What did I forget? What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? And yeah, if you want a free copy of this one pager, I can email it to you. Send me a message on LinkedIn with your email address and I'll send it out. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm currently on the job hunt. So if you enjoyed this video, you have an open Scrum Master, Project Manager, Program Manager, send me a message and maybe we can set up an interview. All right, thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.